It's been hilarious to see the total dogpile on top of Ubisoft and Assassin's Creed Shadows for their many, many missteps.
I've been reviewing your work. Quite frankly, it stinks.
But we may have forgotten that they've got another game coming out of a galaxy far, far away. And it looks just as bad, if not worse, than Shadows. From terrible gameplay to an ugly protagonist to stupid graphic requirements and even bribing online influencers to give them good reviews, Star Wars Outlaws is shaping up to be a massive pile of crap.
That is one big pile of shit.
This is Marks on Games, and today we're talking about Ubisoft's next disastrous game, Star Wars Outlaws. Now, let's get into it. I've spent many, many minutes in many videos talking crap about Ubisoft as a whole and Assassin's Creed Shadows as a game, but I've rarely touched on Star Wars Outlaws.
Phrasing.
With the massive gravitational pull for garbage that is Assassin's Creed Shadows, Star Wars Outlaws is sort of an afterthought. Make no mistake about it, it still looks terrible, and people still hate it before it even comes out.
That is correct.
However, it's a lesser of two evils kind of thing. And no, the hate does not come from Disney Star Wars hate. The last two Jedi games that came out with Cal Kestis as the main character were actually well-reviewed and pretty damn fun to play. One thing people hate about this game, though, is just the look of it, especially the main character.
Ew, David!
It's just another uglification of women in gaming, and it's incredibly clear what they're doing.
Fact.
However, just with every other criticism Ubisoft gets, they're denying it and trying to gaslight us on top of it. Let's go to Bounding into Comics. Star Wars Outlaws creative director rejects criticisms of protagonist Kay Vess's appearance. Quote, "It makes no sense to me, and it's not worth engaging with," end quote.
Cool.
Ubisoft's upcoming Star Wars Outlaws has faced significant criticism for the masculine design of its female protagonist, Kay Vess. Fans have expressed dissatisfaction with her appearance, feeling it reflects the Western video game industry's avoidance of attractive female characters, which it obviously does.
Buckle up, buckaroo!
They can claim she's modeled after a real female model, but seriously, look at this. The actual model looks like a female model should. The game character, just look at that freaking jawline, man. Jay Leno would be proud.
Here comes the Crimson Jinn!
But despite this backlash, the game's creative director remains uninterested in addressing these critiques because, of course, he emphasized that Kay Vess's character is meant to be approachable, humorous, and tough, prioritizing these traits over engaging with what he considers bad faith criticisms. And if there's one thing we all care about with our in-game protagonists, is if there's someone that we could see ourselves grabbing a beer with at the local pub and having a chuckle with, eh?
Of course.
The controversy over Kay Vess's design is just one issue among many plaguing Star Wars Outlaws. The game has faced accusations of using bot armies for social media hype, requiring an internet connection for physical copies, and having an unfavorable pricing structure. We'll get into some of the issues with graphics here in just a moment. If you want to hear more about the pricing issues, I made a video I'll link at the end here. You can watch that. Previews have also highlighted the concerns about gameplay quality, with particular skepticism around its immersive elements. Quite frankly, the gameplay looks like garbage, and you've got the usual shills, like those from IGN, pretending that this stuff looks good.
The blaster battles felt like they had meaningful stakes.
Bruh.
And the stealth gameplay had a bit of weight to it because I knew that I'd be up against it if I messed up.
Set for release on August 30th for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC, Star Wars Outlaws faces considerable challenges to avoid a disappointing reception. At this point, I don't think there's any chance it will succeed, with a massive hate campaign building against it.
From the bottom of my heart, man to man, your story.
One of the issues that PC gamers, in particular, have against Ubisoft's latest turd involve graphic requirements. This is from That Park Place. PC gamers roast Star Wars Outlaws after system requirements revealed. PC gamers are frustrated with Ubisoft and Star Wars Outlaws after announcement of its demanding system requirements. To achieve 60 FPS at 1080p, Players need an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3060 Ti or AMD Radeon RX 6700 XT. Minimum requirements include a GTX 1660 or RX 5600 XT for 1080p at 30 FPS. High settings for 1440p at 60 FPS need an RTX 3080 or RX 6800 XT, while ultra settings for 4K at 60 FPS require an RTX 4080 or RX 7900 XTX. If you're not a PC gamer, which I am not, I'm sure that all sounded like trigonometry in a foreign language. But to those who are PC gamers and know their stuff, that is apparently a big deal.
Right.
The cost to meet these requirements range from $1,200 for minimum to $2,362 for Ultra, with the 4K graphics cards alone priced at $1,099, just to be able to play this game.
That's a lot of nuts!
Gamers expressed their dissatisfaction, questioning the game's optimization and necessity of such high-end hardware. The backlash continued on social media, with players mocking the performance standards and criticizing the reliance on upscaling technology.
Let the hate flow through you.
Comments included disbelief at the need for high-end GPUs for 1440p gameplay and frustration over the use of upscalers to compensate for poor performance. Some accused developers of laziness, arguing that the reliance of frame generation technology indicates a lack of proper game optimization.
I get it. I don't get it.
The sentiment among gamers is that such high requirements are unreasonable and indicative of deeper issues within the game's development. I'm pretty sure that Ubisoft is just trying to make this game look as pretty as possible, main character excluded, to make up for the amateurish gameplay.
Yep.
And while I mentioned the shameless media shills earlier that are trying to slap lipstick and blush on this pig and get her ready for market, we're going to turn to an extremely hilarious ploy Ubisoft is pulling with online video game reviewers. We'll stick with that Park Place. Ubisoft buttered up YouTubers and influencers with trips to Disneyland and boat tours to promote Star Wars Outlaws.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Ubisoft's marketing campaign for Star Wars Outlaws has come under scrutiny for lavishly treating YouTubers and influencers to trips and experiences in exchange for positive coverage. The campaign, described as Ubisoft's largest ever, included flying influencers to Los Angeles, providing Disneyland tours, and offering 4 hours of gameplay access.
I mean, really, you're kind of weak.
This isn't insanely uncommon to pretty much bribe game reviewers to give you glowing write-ups, but this seems pretty over the top and silly. YouTubers like Cyberpunk20XX, Cardafel Koenig, and Louise Julie shared their experiences revealing the extensive perks and VIP treatments provided by Ubisoft. It's no offense to them because I checked and they have pretty respectable followings, but I've quite literally never heard of these people, not even in a passing mention. Who? They've all got pretty big audiences, downright massive compared to my humble little channel, but I would think that Ubisoft would attempt to woo more, I don't know, mainstream names? But what the hell do I know? Maybe all the mainstreamers hate them.
I don't even know who you are.
Despite these luxurious incentives, Louise Julie denied being paid by Ubisoft to promote the game, stating her content was independently created and monetized only through YouTube views. I don't think anyone accused her of being physically paid money by Ubisoft, but we are very much accusing her of being bribed with trips and gifts.
You son of a bitch! I'm in!
This campaign has sparked criticism and skepticism among gamers, especially given the recent controversies surrounding the game, as it should. Influencers and YouTubers' involvement, coupled with the extravagant gifts and experiences, has raised concerns about the authenticity of their reviews and content. Again, as it should. German YouTube channel Piet Smite even admitted to removing their preview video after it was revealed that a third-party agency had requested changes to the content. So, good for him, I guess. This revelation has intensified the debate about transparency and ethical practices in game marketing, drawing parallels to other failed campaigns like Amazon's The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, which saw a low completion rate despite significant promotional efforts. They put out videos before the Season 1 launch with quote-unquote superfans who later admitted that they never even watched the show. Literally, nothing about that campaign was authentic.
I almost forgot. Go yourself.
This is also a major part of what Gamergate was about. People within the gaming industry would exchange, let's say, bedroom favors with uggo fake news journalists in exchange for glowing reviews of their terrible games and more press coverage all around. Very quid pro quo.
You
Now, this doesn't quite raise to that level by any means, but it's still pretty slimy, and we can all see what they're doing. I don't know if Ubisoft can or will ever turn this ship around, but with Assassin's Creed Shadows and now Star Wars Outlaws both about to drop like next-day diarrhea after a night at the Golden Corral buffet line, they may never be able to clear this stink out. Rest in piss, Ubisoft. Comment with your thoughts on this. Do you agree with the articles? Do you agree with my takes? Are you going to drop money on this game? Are you completely done with Ubisoft? Or do you still think they're a good company with good games? Let me know down in the comments section. As always, the links to the articles I covered can be found in the video description. Also, please share this video around to everyone you know, and don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click that little bell to be notified every time we post brand new content. This has been Marks on Games, and we'll see you next time.